David Lynch famously said that before you can make anything, you first need a setup, the right tools and physical space. This is my setup, a 200 square foot garage in my backyard. But it's not just a garage, it's my workshop. A space where I've been building out dozens of miniature sets, props, and stop-motion puppets. Sometimes it's an animation studio, sometimes it's a soundstage, but most of the time it's just where I go to create, to experiment and be transported to another world. And that looks something like this. My puppets almost always begin as clay maquettes. And even though I sketch out the puppet ahead of time, sculpting allows for experimentation, as it helps me find the character along the way, while slowly getting a feel for who he is and how the puppet will articulate in hand. This puppet is rooted in the tradition of crucifixion iconography, images that have long represented both the vulnerability and endurance of the human form. Artists have been drawn to this imagery for centuries, in part because I think there's something about the exposed figure that refuses to be ignored. It's an evocative archetype that exists somewhere between the alchemical and the spiritual, which I think is what makes it perfect for this format. Rendering the flesh in silicone feels like the truest analog for the body. Because this figure will eventually be animated, finding key points of movement is essential to his performance. For that reason, I've decided to build the wire armature directly into the cross itself, acting as a makeshift rig to stabilize his body, while still allowing me to manipulate his movements. Here I'm designing the limbs as well as the head and body to be affixed to the cross independently. Doing so prevents any additional movement from the puppet during animation. Due to dwindling supplies, I opted to build the musculature system from upholstery foam and liquid latex that I had lying around my shop. This was a bit of a gamble, as upholstery foam is much less forgiving than silicone, but ultimately I like the mottled texture that the foam has when combined with latex. The porous material naturally lends itself to the illusion of sinew and exposed tissue. As a general rule of thumb, I try to use whatever leftover materials I have on hand at a given time, and often that helps determine the look and style of the piece itself. In this case, I had some broken pieces of insulation board from a previous build, and naturally it gave way to this soapstone quality that felt ancient and monolithic. I could immediately see it framing the puppet, almost like a set piece from an old Hollywood epic. Constraints like these seem to have a way of becoming solutions, and I try to let that guide the process when it happens. Not unlike stop motion itself, making tactile art like this is often a tedious and unforgiving endeavor. Thousands of little compounding pieces accumulate slowly over time, painstakingly strung together by hand. But what keeps me coming back to this workshop day in and day out is that when all of these moving parts do come together, they take on a life of their own. And what remains when the work is done is permanent in a way that I am not.